See? Ring the alarm. It's like this. When you think you should panic, don't panic. Panic is always the last thing you should do because it'll lead to fear, which leads to tenseness, over tenseness. Like I heard in car wrecks, basically, a lot of times people die from the shock of seeing it coming. They freeze and lock up like this, and then when they hit, their body rips itself apart. Same thing. If you're all tensed up and real angry when you get hit the wrong way, it's not good. Sometimes it is good, but sometimes it's not. But yeah, back to the relaxed hand philosophy. Bruce Lee said that he'd leave his hand loose and only tense it at the last second. There was a boxer named Chris Bird, and he used this technique. I think he's from around here. But I mean, look, I'm no expert on sports. I ain't got time to watch much sports. But, I still do pay attention to certain people over time and try to give them some support. At least just send them some good energy their way. Just basically good thoughts. Good thoughts come from a relaxed mind as well. And if your mind's not relaxed and it's anxious, these other thoughts pop in. The ones that, thoughts are contagious. So if you're dosing yourself up with certain kind of thoughts, it can have certain kind of adverse effects. So, this philosophy of the relaxed hand is a reflection of your relaxed mind and your heart. That is, you know what I'm saying? It's also a reflection of your heart. You know what I'm saying? That, look, you don't want to wield your mind and thoughts towards these bad things, because now. Anyway, Chris Bird used to use this, but he's a touch. That's what my stepdad used to say. He's a touch fighter, and Musashi talks about this too. And basically, slashing is you just want to touch the person with the end of your blade. There's a difference between slashing and cutting. Cutting, in boxing terminology, would be giving them that all you got. But there's even a loose way to do that, and Bruce Lee had that. His power was explosive too. So that's kind of a hard movement. But he was still loose. That's how he attained it. Because listen, when you're tensed up right here, you're already all maxed out. Like, really, you're going from there, and your movement is actually going downwards. You're losing potential. But when you come from zero and you can bust all the way into it, as you're moving forward, or as the other person's coming at you aggressively, which is a symptom of kind of like anger and fear, because you're being over aggressive. Because why? Because you're fearful you might lose if you don't take a cheap shot, or if you don't go in for the kill. You go for the kill, but yet you put yourself in range of getting blasted. If that person can hold their ground in their peace and just move out of the way at the last second, and then basically reversal, you know what I'm saying? It all comes back on you. And that's kind of how these things work out here, man. It is cause and effect, and it is in a way you reap what you sow. What you put out comes back to you. So that's another reason to practice this philosophy. Because when you're angry, or you're mad, and then you're aggressive and you're feisty, you're going, and in a way, it's like you're running around with the rabies, like psychologically and spiritually, and you're like just shooting negative energy on all the people around you, and it's going to be hard for them to like you in that state. So it's going to cause conflict and trauma in your freaking relationships. And you know what I'm saying? People should be considerate of these things. Everyone thinks, if we can just cover it up and keep it behind closed doors, it's all okay. Because I've seen this, my whole life. Every family has its public image and its private image. And that's the disingenuity of people. And they'll be in there gossiping, being mean, talking about everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Doing all the same things, not having their own shit straight. Because when your life's in disarray, it's real easy to focus on everyone else's problems, so that it gives you a mechanism to not think about your own. You know what I'm saying? That's understandable. I could see all the strategic reasonings for all these psychological defense mechanisms. It's like once you recognize that. Only listen, if you're so look, you'd never be able to figure that out if you're angry. You just be running around thinking it's just them all the time and don't know you are them. You're helping fuel them by being them because it justifies them in a way, and you add some fuel to this fire. So you keep some energy going on in the ritual, the evil energy trauma harvesting rituals that happen to us periodically throughout life. What I learned that they found studies in mice with electrodes planted in their brain, like the Huxley-Berkeley Technique 63 seminar or conference or whatever the heck that was called. He was talking about how they can use pain, which is pain is trauma. There's another mechanism too. See, pain can be masked with anger. In a way, you won't address your true pain, so you mask it with anger, and therefore you can never even really be healed because it's like a cutout. The initial hitter is covered by the cutout. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, man, and then look, it's gonna fuel. The more pain is gonna cause the guilt, the shame, and then that's gonna add to later fear of rejection, and then that's gonna lead to over aggressiveness because you're gonna feel guilty conscience. Oh, everyone doesn't like. I'm a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the opposite effect of the calm mind. See, with the calm mind, you can start to learn, and you can be humble. And see, the humble one, just because you're humble doesn't mean you're weak. That's the strongest thing. See, here's the thing. Sun Tzu said this. The true mastery is not conquering others. It's really conquering yourself. It's like if you can conquer yourself, you can conquer anything. Basically, is what he's saying. It's that hard, but it's attainable to some degree. And these are the ways you do it. You got to look at these things and see how one leads to another, and you got to look at it and see what is the opposite of anxiety. Well, that's confidence. How do you attain confidence without arrogance? Well, it's like you got to have faith in something. Like Sun Tzu, in a way, had faith in his stratagems that they would work, and they did work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not going to save your soul, but it can teach you how to wage a warfare, or know how they will wage warfare against you. And it will also teach you to wage warfare against your emotions and your actions and your thoughts. And other people's intentions, motivations, reasonings for things. So, I mean, it doesn't just... Look, war is all about deception, but it's just a spiritual battle anyway, just day to day, with just the gremlins, with the freaking Murphy's Law, with these politics, these dirty politics. I mean, it is such a pain to even talk about politics. I don't even talk politics anymore. I just talk Machiavelli, and I talk Sun Tzu, I talk Musashi, I talk Jesus, I talk, I talk all this stuff because there's truths in it. And it's like that. Same thing like how I can perceive these things because that they be true about the relaxed hand, the relaxed mind, relaxed heart. Only way you can attain those things is through a certain faith in something. Because without that, I would never have any peace. Or truly no joy. My truest joy does come from those things. You know what I'm saying? From spiritual things. Not, even though I get joy from these two. You know what I'm saying? Look. Learning. I get joy from doing this too. Why? Because I just feel good to share with people these good, the best of the things that I've ever learned, dude. And I've had to pay by learning the hard way. For many, that's one of the reasons I'm compelled to share and entertain people and provoke them in a good way, in a calm, cool, collective, sound mind way. To go just. Do your own research, man, and look, go see if these things be true or not for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you another. Like, look, here's Muhammad Ali: float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay, check it out. in order to get that fast snap fluidity, you gotta be relaxed, man, and you gotta have also this mindset that comes. It doesn't come from pumped up ego necessarily. Actually, while you're doing that, you're not doing that. You're doing what you love in a way. He loved to box. He was calm and cool about it, and he was loose and fast. And when you're loose and fast like that, man, it's just, but it comes from a different kind of a power. It's like a man, I can't even think of how to describe it. But yeah, man, it's from a joy though that you get from doing it that allows you to lose your anxieties. And then you can attain that relaxed, calm mind. And you need that in disaster situations. Like when that alarm went off, did you see me get crazy or freak out once? Look, I've seen so much stuff, man. It's not that I'm shell shocked and I just don't. I'm all desensitized to it. It's just like, hey, when the time comes for me to go leave this world, it's God chooses. You know what I'm saying? So, I look, I can gain a certain level of closure and let go, because it's like, I can't really affect that other than if I tried to take myself out, which I would never do. You know what I'm saying? I've put myself in some crazy situations that I could have got taken out, but wasn't doing it necessarily for that cause. It was more like I had to test myself so many ways, and it was because of stupidity, impatience, angers, chips on my shoulder, conniveries. Because look, when you deal with connivers and to survive around them, you start to become a conniver yourself. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's quite sad, man, how life is in certain aspects. But I can look back on it and look, without all that crap, I get, that's what it takes to break your stubbornness sometimes, is to just have to reface it over and over and over and over and over and over until it, like, the light turns on, like, wait a second. I can't defeat this evil by evil. I don't even, that's really, in a way, fucking, hey, I'll do this, but I'll do it for a good reason. And nah, yeah, it doesn't work that way. It always, it's like having half-heartedly about it. You know what I'm saying? Serving two masters. It's like you really do end up very conflicted. And that's like being angry, but yet being, you're saying you're spiritual, right? You're having a spiritual, you're deep in the spiritual, but you're always angry. It's like, look, it's not bad to be angry about things that you should be angry about, but you can't dwell on them, because it will eat you up inside, and you will become angry too. So you'll just be guilty as whatever you're mad at. And then look, it's just, doesn't it just seem that you can't overcome you can't make fire go out by putting fire on it. You know what I'm saying? And you can't let water ain't gonna dry if you keep adding more water. Like, look, if you put water in the boat instead of throwing it out, why are you mad that you sunk? Why are you mad at the world because you sunk your own boat? You know what I'm saying, in a way. And then you got all freaked out, panic, jump ship too, before you know what I'm saying, you lost your thing. You could have acted too. And look, and then look, it's like sometimes you just got to remember to reset. Boom, boom.